43 people have been kidnapped in Crimea since Russia's illegal annexation of the peninsula 3 years ago. 6 of them have been found dead, and 18 are still unaccounted for. Human rights activists believe that the real number of victims may be significantly higher. These are only the cases which were either covered by the media or those we were informed of via messages from their relatives. There's a very high probability that there's a huge number of cases which haven't been recorded by human rights activists. And I would also like to stress that in 36 out of the 43 recorded cases, there's evidence of involvement by the de facto Russian authorities. The largest number of kidnappings took place at the time of Crimea's annexation and surround the illegal referendum. People were brazenly kidnapped off of the streets in broad daylight without fear of interference or even being seen by witnesses. The so-called Crimea Self-Defense Unit and the members of the Russian Unity political party faithfully executed their directives from Moscow. Tatar activist Rashad Ametov was the first victim. In March of 2014, he was kidnapped in the central square of Simferopol. 2 weeks later, he was found dead with indications of torture. The guilty have never faced justice. However, the kidnappers started becoming more cautious that summer. In the spring of 2014, the kidnappings of civil activists were carried out openly, and many of them were released afterwards. Meanwhile, in the second phase, we can see more professionalism in the kidnappings. There are no witnesses, or the kidnappings are carried out less openly. That is, it can be assumed that this is the work of a special forces unit under the control of the de facto Russian authorities. The kidnapping of Ervin Ibragimov, a member of the Crimean Tatar Majlis, in Bakhchisaray was one of the most recent cases. The Tatar activist knew that he was being watched beforehand. This case caused a stir in the global community. Human rights activists organized actions in support of Ibragimov and other kidnapped Ukrainians outside of the Russian embassy in Kiev. The activists emphasized the numerous violations of international law by the Russian authorities. There's a ban on forcible disappearances in international law. There is the Convention on Enforced Disappearances, which was ratified by Ukraine in August 2015. The convention defines the term enforced disappearances based on 3 components, and we use these components to frame our work. The report on enforced disappearances will be sent to the UN Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances. The information will also be provided to the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court.